Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and this is my final video for July, and looking at the calendar, it will be, let's see, 1, 2, it will probably be closer to 3 weeks. Oh gosh, that's a bad time. Let's see, 1, 2, I probably won't be able to film a Flosstube until around August 15th because the normal day that I would be filming a Flosstube, or I might film it from a hotel room because we're getting our house roofed right during the time that I would normally film my first Flosstube for August. So anyway, today is July 26th, and I don't want to make too much noise. I'm rattling with my ledger and my pen here. So July, so far I've stitched 19 days. I hope I can make it over 20 in the next few days, but it's a really, really busy week. Lots of activity going on and crazy work stuff. Let's see. So, as you know, I think I might have mentioned my birthday was this week, and I went to the 30 Acorns hands-on design class at Acorns and Threads. That was on Friday and Saturday of this week, and now it's Sunday, and I'm not too awfully exhausted. So I took a 3-hour nap when I got home, and which was bad because then when we stayed up really late and I wasn't tired, so I'm laying in bed at like 2:30 in the morning going, maybe I need to take something extra. So I went and took some more melatonin to knock myself out enough so I could fall asleep. And all right, so I'm gonna go over my birthday curated cross stitch collection. Sorry, I'm trying to get, there's one of Max's cat hairs on the fabric I wanted to show. So anyway, we have a coupon program at Acorns and Threads, and so every month there's a different coupon for, it could be threads, it could be fabric, it could be 20% off anything you get. It could be get a poker chip where it could be 20 to 45% off or 20 to 40% off what you get. I've only got one of the higher randomly drawn poker chips one time. Usually I just get 20, which, 20 is better than nothing. So, we went to the class, it opened early, so the shop was opened early before 10, so we could go in there and peruse. And as I was getting some stuff before the class started, I found like a couple pieces of fabric, and I'm like, ooh, I'd like those. And so they were like, well, here's a bag, because normally you put it in a little, like a little shopping basket, and then they put that behind the counter. But in this case, because there were so many of us, that we got just a paper bag to put stuff in with our name on, and then later on we purchased that. So I got a couple pieces of fabric, and then I went in later to shop and got a couple patterns, and then I realized later that there was a special pattern that had not been released before by Cathy Habermann, and so I ended up buying one pattern on Sunday after I found out about it. And it was one of those patterns that I saw, and I was like, ooh, this would be really cool to get for a smalls exchange for the beach retreat in 27. And so I ended up buying it on Sunday. So I'm just going to show all this stuff all together. So I want to kind of show what I got in terms of looking at the, okay. I got, in Acorns and Threads, there's an oval table well, maybe the table's not oval, but you go around in an oval to look at all the fabric that's linen. And then on the wall, they have the Aida, and then down below is the Lugana. And so I stitch on a variety of things. I really do enjoy Aida and Lugana stitching. I find it a little bit easier than doing linen, although there are some pieces that the linen's fabulous, and so I'm gonna do it on linen. Anyway, so I looked at the linen first, and I can see 36 count. I can't really see 40 count. And my prescription has changed, so my eyes are kind of still adjusting to, like, for the last, I don't know how many years, I've basically taken off the glasses to stitch, and because then I'm very, very nearsighted, and so if I take them off, then it actually is magnified. Well, because things have changed a little bit, I take off the glasses, and sometimes it looks kind of, even though it's sort of magnified, it's sort of blurry. And so I'm kind of keeping my glasses on to stitch some of the time, but then I take them off. And so I'm still, like I say, I got a new prescription in April, although I didn't get it until May because I had some problems with the frames. And so, but anyway, when I went into the store before the class started, I went to the 32 count linen section, and this is Atomic Ranch Terracotta. I hope you can see a good color. I got all the lights on, but I don't feel like I'm getting much light on myself and on what I'm showing. So where am I gonna stick this? Right there, hopefully. Willow is not quite asleep anymore, but she's across the room. And then this is, it says Barefoot Linen. I think that's from Barefoot Needle Arts. And this is Liberty, and it's light blue with some modeling. So I thought this was a good color. There's always things you can use. This is a neutral in terms of those of us that like stitching on color. This is our version of a neutral. Certainly the terracotta is more neutral, and the other thing I really liked about this terracotta is it had terracotta modeling, as you can see, but then there was this sort of gold modeling in spots. And so I liked that, and I could think of several things to stitch with it. So all right, so those two were the first two things I saw, and then I went back later to look at fabric, because that's what my coupon this month was for, was 20% off all fabric. And so I got some Atomic Ranch Lugana, 32 count Lugana Foxglove, which is this lovely lavender, and this is a huge chunk of fabric. So there'll be a lot of things. I think I might have a Jet X stitch that would look really good on this. I'll have to look at the pattern. So that was one thing I thought of when I was getting it. And then I saw this great piece of Picture This Plus feldspar. It's Aida, and it is a sort of blue-gray, almost like a tan or in the modeling. And I found Picture This Plus has some really good pictures on their website, because they have all those like 149 colors. So so I really liked this one, and this is the kind of fabric that I was thinking about doing. The sampler I'm designing, thinking on something like this. That looks like rocks. So, and feldspar is a mineral. It is a kind of a rock. So, anyway, this is 18 count. It's, just a quarter. So, and then the other thing I saw is, like, a month or two ago, I wanted to start this piece, and I thought, it was Glow Below, Beneath the Waves by, I'm totally spacing on the designer. I've met her in person. I know her first name, Boomerang Stitches, Amity. And so anyway, so she's got this angler fish, and this is a Beneath Waves collaboration. And so it's an angler fish, but the fish is, it's got these sort of stripes of color through it. Hold on. I've been lots of allergies this summer. And so I realized that I thought maybe a gray would, like a light gray would look really good. And then I realized, well, I don't really have any grays in my stash. You know, out of all the colors, and I have lots of colors, I have not really bought gray. And I'm like, that seems perfect. And I need to rectify that. So this is Gandalf the Gray, excuse me, Atomic Ranch stitching. And it is 32 count. Okay, I successfully paused. So, yeah, I've been having a lot of allergies this summer because everything did not die back in the winter. And so there's a lot of stuff that grew really well. And then we have a ton of wildfires in Oregon right now. And so there have been a number of days that have been like really hazy, and we have a massive thunderstorm that went on for hours just south of us. And then we had a thunderstorm like ringing our town, where I could see lightning strikes from different directions. And I was across town when it started at 9 and ran through the rain, could see the lightning strikes north of town, came home, and then I could see them sort of northwest of town. And they were also going off south of town, because that's south of town, Salem, and that's where they had this like thunderstorm that went on for a solid 2 hours. And someone that at the hands-on design class, there were a bunch of people there from different states, and there was some people from Indiana, and they were like, oh yeah, or I guess maybe one of my friends also, she married a man from Indiana, so she's lived back there. And so they were like, oh yeah, that's typical summer Indiana, is this thunderstorm stuff, which is not typical for this part of the country. So the other thing I purchased was a project bag by Crafty Corey Stitches, my friend Corey, who's the finisher for Acorns and Threads, and taking off the price tag. So I believe last summer when I was in the shop around the time of my birthday, I bought myself a project bag just because it's my birthday. So I told Janine, I think I'm starting a project bag tradition where I'm going to buy a project bag. And speaking of Beneath the Waves, I have like a giant, just plastic, cheap Amazon project bag where I put all the Beneath the Waves patterns and all the fabric I had, and so this project bag is basically the plastic project bag, and it's about that, that high, because it's all stuffed. And I have one thing I've started, which is on a fairly big chunk of fabric, and I'm going to do a number of ones on that piece of fabric, but it's like a PDF. Okay, so I just have one PDF print paper that's printed out, and it's all crumply because I've shoved it in things. And so I thought, well, I'm going to get a ocean project bag and just stick the Beneath the Wave stuff every time. I have one spot on the spreadsheet for Beneath the Waves right there, and I'm doing the Blue Spotted Octopus by the Blue Flower is the first one I'm doing, which is a PDF. It's actually a free PDF, And so that is gonna go in this project bag. So I can basically, when I work on it, I can just pick up this project bag. I don't have to sort through all the fabric and all the patterns where I have all of them jammed into the cheap plastic project bag. And so over time, the projects will get done, and that cheap project bag will get skinnier, and then, you know, eventually I can, my friend Riley and I were gonna, and maybe Mary Lynn and Lisa were gonna all swap patterns if we had one that somebody else didn't have. And so, you know, I'd like to do these once. I don't have a plan to do them more than once, although there might be some that I could do more than once, like the Glow Below from Boomerang Stitches. That's a really cool design. If somebody wanted me to do it for them, I would probably want to do it. I would probably agree to do it again. So anyway, so plans for this bag. And then, put that back down here because I don't think I need to show my spreadsheet for anything. Okay, and then what I got on, you know, I looked at all the the platitudes of the, you know, that everybody made, a bunch of different designers made designs that could be finished on plates. Like this one, getting a little bit of glare from the window, and this one, you know, because there are all these in vintage, in antique stores and in resale shops. There's all these plates that nobody wants, and you can't microwave. You certainly can't microwave something like that. It'll set your microwave on fire. So, and the younger generations just don't seem to like a lot of the stuff I got back in my cabinet there. I like it, but anyway, so I thought, well, I could help reuse the vintage plates. I just didn't like too many of the patterns that came out. So I found a couple I did like. This is Annie B's ABC Always Bring Cross Stitch. And since I brought the Henny Penny to the family reunion and worked on it. And then this one is Make It So. Of course, being the trekker I am, I liked it. And you know, I'm tempted to replace these stitching things with a Starfleet Delta and some other things that I could, you know, maybe a tricorder. So anyway, that's my plan for this, and maybe put in some stitching stuff with it, you know, mix it up. So then the Make It So and spelling it SEW would be kind of more of a joke, but makes sense, having the stitching stuff with the Trek stuff. And then I really like this hands-on design, Stitching by the Sea. This was a trunk show. We had a Lucy Beam trunk show going on, and I hadn't bought anything when I went to her class last month, but the trunk show was still going on, so I picked this up, and because I didn't have a chance to look at it during the class. And then Hands-On Design is having a trunk show, and there are a number of older patterns that she is re-releasing or releasing for the first time because they had been on Patreon. So this is Stitching by the Sea. Stitching by the Sea is where I long to be, which that's true for me a lot of the time. And this is like a little pillow and a little like a tub with some rickrack around the edge. And so I thought this would be a great, yeah, it's kind of big for a, I'm looking at the stitches. Oh, it's 115 by 115, so maybe it's not quite as small as I thought it was. because on the back there's a pin cushion in the little tub. Darn. Okay. Well, I've never done a small for the beach retreat, so it was an idea. I'm trying to think of stuff that I'm going to do next year for the Flosstube channel, and to kind of challenge myself as a stitcher. And yeah, so I know next year I'm going to try to work on my larger pieces to make some progress on them, and maybe try to get a finish per month, but maybe not if I'm not going to do as many smalls as I've done. And then the hands-on design piece that had not been released before, and is special to this trunk show at our shop, was sorry can't stitching. Stitching, bye. Yeah, that's what it says. So, and the finishing piece is, I believe, by Chantel 141. I think that, I'm not seeing that, but I think that's what they said during the class. So anyway, love it, it's colorful. So okay, so that's what I bought with my birthday. I had a gift certificate for my birthday, I had some extra cash, and so I'm not going to show much stuff from the class, but I will. I brought some pink cotton felt because I have a wool allergy, and some of the things, we were finishing a needle book with wool in it, but the wool was a wool blend with rayon, and there was somebody with a wool allergy. We had two sets of classes. We had a 2-day class that was Wednesday, Thursday, and then we had a 2-day class that was Friday, Saturday. And so I was in the Friday, Saturday, so I could have it on my birthday. And then the other people, there was one person in the class who had a wool allergy, and they didn't have any problems with the wool blend. Now, I don't have problems with wool per se. I can't sleep under wool blankets. I don't put on like wool sweaters. I have worn wool and wool blend skirts and been okay, but at least when I was younger. But unless I'm like trying to breathe through it or have it around my face, I don't usually react. What I have reacted to when and the reason I realized it was getting worse was that I was cold when I was at my mother-in-law's place, and put a wool throw blanket over me, to get warm. And I started realizing, oh, I can't breathe very well. Okay, I'm gonna take my inhaler, and I'm gonna fold up the wool throw back on the couch, and then I'm gonna get my jacket, which is what I did. So anyway, so people, since I had such a problem at the last class with the lizard litter, people were very concerned for me, and I kept saying, I'm gonna take my inhaler, I'll be cool. Wool is not the same to my body as walnuts. Walnuts, very bad. Wool can be bad, but usually it's not bad. Okay, sorry about that. Apparently I had not deleted my last videos. I only have limited amount of storage on this phone, and I had not deleted my last floss tubes from 2 weeks ago. They were still in trash. So I got this message saying, your storage is full. This video is stopping. So anyway, so what I was saying about wool is I didn't have any problems. So I, used my inhaler before I even went to the store. I was fine. So I can't show you the fully finished objects because there was a lot of stuff in that class. And Cathy Habermann, Hands-On Design, is an amazing teacher, and she gives you step-by-step instructions, and I'm going to change my position in my chair, so I feel a little bit better. And so the first day of the class was super intense with a bunch of instructions, and I did not have one of the pieces finished, and so I knew I couldn't do that part of the fully finishing. The other piece, by the time I got to some of the last steps, it was the end of the day, and we were not quite ready to be done, a lot of us. So we actually were able to stay in the shop past 4 p.m., which it was supposed to be the end of the day. I stayed till about 4:36, and did not get much farther in the finishing part because my eyes were really fatigued at that point, and there was a part that we had to do where we were stitching something, hand stitching something on, and it really, really, really needed wonder clips or some kind of a wonder clip, some kind of a clip to hold things together so then you could stitch it, and otherwise you needed 3 or 4 hands to hold everything stable. And so what I did finish is I did make the little box, and with the lid, I'm not going to open it because the inside is still unfinished, and and we are legally constrained not to share what happened, the instructions and what happens, and and if I show you my in progress stuff, that's kind of revealing some of the class. And so the other thing we got is we got a 30 Acorns needle minder. And then so Cathy has a bunch of fangirls that travel the country going to her classes. Someone actually joked about her having stalkers. I don't know if she made that joke. I didn't hear it. It was across the room, but somebody told me later, which was kind of funny. But, great people. There were people there was one woman from Florida. There were people from Indiana. There was a shop owner from Arkansas. There were some people that drove down that I knew through Zoom that drove down from Washington State. There was like somebody, I was trying to think if there was somebody else from another state that I heard of, like Nebraska maybe. I'm not sure. Because the room was packed, and about half were local and half were, maybe I'm overestimating the number from out of state, but there was a lot of people that, and us local people were like, whoa, we don't know them. And but I'd heard that this happened, and so I made sure that when the class was announced, I was like right on it, saying, nope, I want a place, and here's my money, and making sure I got one. So a lovely person, Jen, gave us these acorn floss drops, and you can't really see through this because this bag is kind of sparkly, but the acorns themselves are kind of sparkly. The covering, the finish on them is sparkly too. And then there's 2 little teeny charms. There's an acorn and a 2026 charm in here that go on with a lobster claw, that go on the little floss drops. So that was like a nice class table gift for everyone. And then of course we got a big honkin' acorn charm. You can see how big this is, to go on my Acorns and Threads. This thing is going to get, at one point Janine was saying that she had so many charms that it was starting to pull her blouse down, and she said she was showing it a little too much, so she had to do some rearranging of this. And actually I think she did something different to it so it was not pulling her. She like changed the magnets or something on it, so it wasn't pulling her shirt down so much. But anyway, so we were talking about all the little charms and the dates, and I didn't realize, but the Acorn Gathering mini retreat in January, the only thing we get is the year. Because I was like, well, who is the sheep? Because I couldn't remember, when we got the sheep, and they were like, oh yeah, that was Berlin wool work with Susan Stanley, and I'm like, oh yeah, because they substituted like a cotton thing for me, because I couldn't work with the wool yarn or flosses, and I couldn't work with the wool piece that you stitched. So I got some substitutes. I think it was pearl cotton that was substituted for what I got. And so anyway, I believe my friend Tasha actually has a spreadsheet of all the different charms and what events they were from, because there's so many now. And I've been going to Pinwist since 2023, and I know I got this tiny little acorn leaf for that one, and I got a dragonfly as a table gift from somebody else. And so I know this spool was from the Bristol class I went to, and I think Pinwist 24 was this little vignette of a house and an acorn tree, and or an oak tree. Sorry, it's not acorn trees. Anyway, so yeah, so I think I know all my little sharps, but so anyway, so that's all I have for the class. Now I'm going to show the whip. So this is your reward for sticking it out for the last half hour-ish. And I have been working, oh shoot, I have one more whip. Hold on. I realized I did work on it this week. Hold on. All right, I found a little extra time to work on the kitty calendar for February, which is something I pick up when I have a little bit of time that, I want to work on something simple. And this is the third month that I'm doing, and the third month that goes on this piece of Wildberry Lugana. I believe that's from Witchell. And so this is going to be February, and I have been changing the colors a bit. And so I got the border done last week. I got the hearts done. I started doing, that's the F for February. And this design has these little confetti raindrops, and they're kind of red in this design. I am changing the colors quite a bit. This will not be a gray cat with a white face. It'll be sort of, I think more of a, like a blue point Siamese look of a cat, which is sort of reversed of like, it's going to be mainly white, gray, and then maybe darker in the muzzle. And it's going to have green eyes, so it's not going to be like a true Siamese exactly. I'm thinking more of a, maybe something that looks more like a Persian, something like a Persian blend. So anyway, and what I do for these kitty calendars is they originally, this is Val's stitching stuff, and from 2009, and what I have done, the called for fabric and flosses for these patterns are weeks, and what I've done is I've basically gone through my stash and picked out a bunch of stuff which I like and I think works, and so the border is Classic Colorworks being cherry, which is not weeks. And then the hearts and the confetti are Classic Colorworks Cupid, which is a really nice, bright, variegated red. And so there is a little bit of variegation to the Bing cherry, but not too much. I think you can kind of see it more in this bright sunshine coming through the window, but but you don't see it so much in your fabric under normal indoor lighting. And so yeah, so I'm gonna do the cat more like I have this Color and Cotton silver lining. This was something that was like a discontinued thing at the shop. And then I have a limited edition Gentle Arts, and that's what I do every Nashville. I pick up as many limited editions as I can, and then I just throw them into stuff when I need a color I like. And so this seemed like the perfect use up a bunch of my specialty flosses. I'm doing a specialty floss, limited edition floss thing for an Ardith Design, which is flamingos, which are like zombie flamingos. Because she, that piece took a lot of interesting Halloween colors. And then on this particular pattern, the ears, I don't know how well you can see that in this light. I'm trying to see if I can get it. See the ear is like a bright pink on the inside. So I actually have like Peach Fuzz by Weeks, which there, if I take, now you can see a little bit better if I'm not putting it in that bright sunlight because the clouds just moved. So anyway, so that's gonna be the inside of the cat's ears. I had something picked out for this collar which matches the ears. Now I'm kind of wondering what I'm going to do for the collar. And because I've done so many different color changes on the cat, that I was thinking that the cat might be this Dahlia, kind of magenta color, and we'll see. So because I've had so many color changes for the different patterns, sorry, my needle is pushing through the fabric, and I just wanted to not make sure that I wasn't gonna poke myself. Yeah, so I actually have a spreadsheet that's listing all the color changes, so people will know, and I'll know if somebody asks me, hey, what did you do for that? Then I can actually answer them. And so then the thing that I really am focusing on, and I'm calling it my Christmas in July project, is Henny Penny by Stacy Nash. And that is because it is a Christmas present, and I really, really want to get it done soon. And next month, the one thing I have to do the entire month is fully finish my small for Pinwis, because Pinwis is 2 weeks early, about 2 weeks early, because we couldn't get the hotel at our normal time. And this is always a perennial issue with Pinwis, about when it's going to be, when we can get the hotel. I should say not we, but Janine at Acorns and Threads, when she can get the hotel, because during this time it's football season and there's like special football things going on in the Portland area. So so we're always fighting like sports events to get our block for Pinwis. And so this year she had to push Pinwis to Labor Day weekend, which was not necessarily ideal, but oh gosh, then that means I'm going to have horrible traffic to and from. Ugh. I was trying to save money by not going to the hotel Thursday through Sunday morning, and so I was going to commute because I'm about 40 minutes away. I'm 40 minutes away from the shop, and the shop is about 5 minutes further away from me than the hotel. In fact, to get to the shop, I take the same exit that I would need to go to the hotel, and then I drive the rest of the way to the shop through surface streets. So anyway, let me show you Henny Penny, because it's getting really close in terms of, like, this is a chicken, and this is where the cock, sorry, it's not a cock, the comb of the chicken, which is this red portion right there. The red portion, that's where it starts. So I've made it all the way up with black here. I have not finished the black portions on this side. I have started the white right there. So you can see where I've stitched the white there. You guys see that? That's where the apron ends, and the last bit of the black ruffles of the feathers begin. So so one of the things I did this weekend was I filled in some of the white because this apron is speckled, and so a lot of these white areas were still unstitched, so I kind of did a bunch of carrying on the back and got some of the white things stitched. And so there's still a lot of blue, and there's still areas where I've outlined in black, and I like right up here, right here, yeah, right here. I still need to fill those in with white, which are kind of hard to see because the white Ada. But anyway, it's getting close, and I want to get it done. I want to get it done, like, I think I put on my schedule to get it done by October, so I have enough time to finish it, because I'm going to fully finish it myself, and I'm hoping to have my mom help me on it, because she's the sewist. She has the sewing machine, and I'm going to get some nice quilting cotton fabric for the back, and then I'm going to get some heavy duty interfacing, slap that on it really good, because apparently the fiber fill I was going to use will ooze out of the big holes in the 8-count Ada. So yeah, so when I finish this, interface the heck out of it, cut, take it to my mom, say, hey mom, here's the quilting fabric, can you help me sew it? And then we're gonna stuff it, sew up the bottom, and it should be pretty close then, because I don't have to do any other stitching. As soon as I get the stitching done, then I can fully finish it, and then it'll be ready to stick in a gift bag for Christmas. So that's it. I always like hit the table. I'm so excited. So thank you very much for joining me, and you can see the sun shining because it's hitting my chin. Look kind of strange here. It's also hitting you can see how bright it is. Like I say, it's kind of been overcast here a lot today. So, but this is a western facing window, obviously. So anyway, it's probably time for me to go out and water something in the yard. So thank you very much, and like I say, I'll see you in about 2.5 weeks. Bye.